Let me know when we're going to start.
Yeah, so the program is you do your elevator speech first?
Oh,
Okay,
really?
yes,
Okay.
and then,
1 minute.
Minute, what's an elevator speech?
okay, and then launch into a 20-minute presentation, so
Okay.
we're here at your.
So thank you for being here. My name's Sajin. I'm the founder and president of PuppyLove LLC. Did you know there are 70 million single pet owners in the United States? 66% of whom have admitted to finding someone more attractive because they own a pet, and 35% of whom have said they won't date someone who doesn't have a pet. So we're trying to meet that need. PuppyLove is a mobile matchmaking application for pet owners. And I don't mean it's just for dogs, it's for anyone. Anyone who has a pet, whether you have a dog, cat, horse, bird, it doesn't matter. You sign up to our service and you can select and filter so that you see exactly who you want to see. So if you have a dog and you're interested in meeting anyone who has dog, cat, bird, you just hit those buttons and then we show you people, but we do it with a little twist. You don't actually see the person first. All you see is their pet. And you have to like their pet before you can ever see the person. So we tried to make a fun little game, and we think people are really going to like it. Well, that's my only advantage. So, like I said, my name's, do you guys need a minute or do I just go straight into it? Like I said, my name's Sajin Pankar. I'm the founder and president of PuppyLove. And we are a mobile matchmaking app that connects people through pets. So we've designed what we call our two-tiered system. You have to create a profile for both your pet and a profile for yourself. And the people you match with have to like your pet's profile before they can ever see yours. And no one else in the space has created something like that. Everyone else has just a single profile for yourself, and our one indirect competitor, we call them an indirect direct competitor because they aren't a dating app for pet owners, but they are a play date app for dog owners. So people can use them, dog owners can use them to meet other dog owners. So we call them a direct indirect competitor because they don't do what we do, but if people use them for that, then we have to take them seriously as a competitor. And they don't separate it out. They just have one profile that shows you the person and the pet. So we created what we call the two-tiered system because it separates it out, it makes it a little bit of a mystery, it makes it a little more like a game. Because, and here's an example, let's say you're just swiping through and you get to a really fat cat. Like, who doesn't laugh or smile when they see a fat cat? Well, what you're thinking is, who owns the fat cat? Like, what do you think the owner is going to look like? And this is a real life example. My friend owns like a 40-pound cat. This thing is enormous. And if I told you he's a man, he's 26 years old, I don't know what you're thinking of, but you're probably not thinking of a world champion bodybuilder owning a really fat cat. So it's just kind of like that little air of mystery that we wanted to incorporate in what we're doing. So a little bit about the market. The dating industry in the United States is a $2.4 billion industry. The mobile dating industry, since its inception in 2012, has captured about 26.8% of that market, or 26.2% of that market. So the mobile dating industry alone is about $628 million. And it's projected to grow at about 14% a year until 2020. And then the key demographic for mobile dating is 18 to 44. Our target market is about 18 to 35. So there's a small difference there. And then when you narrow down our target market, I think I told you there's 70 million single pet owners in the United States. When you look at specifically in the age range we're looking at, it's 23 million. So our target market is 23 million people across the United States. Oh, look. And then 36 to 55 is 24 million, and 56 to plus is 23 million. It's kind of interesting how it broke down that way. It's equal parts in every age range. So what we've done is we took out, we did some market analysis. We did several informal surveys through Google Analytics. So we asked people in different age ranges and different groups to answer some questions related to dating, mobile dating, and what we believe the vision for PuppyLove is. So at the end result, 56% of people said they wouldn't date someone who doesn't like their pet, and 57% said they would use an app like PuppyLove when we described what we're doing. But what was really interesting for us is that in 274 responses, 35% of those people have said they've used Tinder. And Tinder is unique to know because Tinder is the app that started the mobile dating trend in 2012. 35% of people, and it's still considered the benchmark for mobile dating. It's currently valued at about $5 billion. And 35% of the people who responded to our survey said they would use Tinder. 51% or 57% said they would use an app like PuppyLove. So that number is really fun for us. Our marketing strategies in the short term, it's more of organic growth, word of mouth, and we want to tie into our social media pages. We want to work with organizations on college campuses like vet clubs, animal societies. We're currently working out a deal with the Alachua County Humane Society to sponsor an event. So we want to partner with organizations like that just to kind of do some word of mouth growth for us. Our long-term goal is to partner with some corporate partners like PetSmart, Banfield, Pet Supermarket. There's a section later on where we'll talk about partnerships in a little more detail and where we've established some of those partnerships already. We haven't spoken to these companies directly, but we do have a partnership with a corporate marketing company that handles marketing for PetSmart and Banfield. So I'll get to that in a little bit. So PuppyLove is still an idea stage company. It's got about $10,000 put into it. We haven't really started doing any revenue funding or any real funding. And we have projections for what our revenue would look like. So we have three potential revenue drivers. The first of which is ads. So the way we would advertise on PuppyLove is we would connect it to Google AdSense and let Google do the advertising for us. And the way Google pays people out is through CPM and CTR. So CPM is cost per milli. It's how much you make for every 1,000 people who see your ad. And then CTR is click-through rate, how much you make for every single time someone clicks on your ad through Google. So you would give the ads to Google, and Google would place the ads in their searches and such. So the average cost per milli is $8. So every time 1,000 people see your ad, Google pays you $8. And then the average CTR for a mobile dating app, for a mobile app is 25 cents. So CTRs range anywhere from as low as half a penny to about $12, depending on the key tags that get put along. But the average one for a mobile app is 25 cents, so that's the one we use to project it. So, and then we have to estimate the number of users we would have, and the challenge is to get to those users. But all of our revenue figures are based on getting a user base of 1 million people. So at 1 million users, we estimated, we said we would show an ad every 30 users. So the impression rate is one out of every 3 people, or 1 out of every 30 people, I'm sorry. And that means 30 million swipes on ads a day. So at one day, it would be $10,500 at 1 million users. So that's basis. At 2 million users, that doubles to 21,000, et cetera, and that climbs. But that's all based on the number of users we can achieve. And we believe it's possible because most the dating apps out there, they have between 600,000 to about 8 million active users. The major ones: Coffee Meets Bagel, Bumble, Hinge, Happen, and then Tinder. The second revenue driver is subscriptions. So we would include a premium service. So the cost for that service would be $19.99 a month. And then the average conversion rate for paid subscriptions in the mobile space is 4.75%. So at that point, if we have 1 million users, we have 4.75% of them converted to paying $19.99 a month. That would lead up to $950,000 a month at 1 million users in subscription revenue. And then again, that doubles at 2 million, and that would just continue to grow. The third, I guess I took that slide out. The third revenue driver for us would be selling user information. So collecting gender, age, pet, and then selling it back to corporations like PetSmart, Banfield, that can use that information. And the average cost for information is about $1 per user. So at 1 million users, it would be $1 million in revenue a year. The PuppyLove team. So right now there are two partners. It's myself and my brother. I've been involved in the startup world for about 4 years now. And then I left for about 2 years in the middle to go work for a Fortune 50 company in management in sales. And so I've spent some time doing that. My brother has been involved in tech startups for the last 6 years. And he's currently involved in a tech startup in Baltimore as a agile facilitator. And then we have one full-time developer. He's a software developer for Lockheed Martin, and he liked the idea, so he decided on to work with us. And we're currently looking to expand the team with a marketing director and a larger development team. And then, so here's our partnerships that I was talking about. So we work with the Entrepreneurship Innovation Center at the University of Florida. They connect us to a lot of their network, a lot of their sponsors. But we have partnered with several people who've been in the dating space before. Ken Deckinger, he's currently working on a dating site called justmeetsken.com or justmeetken.com. It's for friends to introduce other friends to each other online. He's based out of Manhattan. He liked the idea, and so he's one of our advisors. There's Brian Scordato, who used to run a dating site called findyourlobster.com. I think it was a friend's reference. But he's since moved out of the dating space and now runs an accelerator in Manhattan called Tacklebox. And then we have Alif Adam, he's the founder and CEO of Direct Logics. He's an advisor who gives us some connections and marketing ties. Then Eric Dobson out of Nashville, Tennessee, he's the CEO of the Angel Capital Group. So it's just a network of angel investors. And he likes the idea, he's watching. Once we can get an MVP and a minimum viable prototype, he said he would be the first to let us present to his group. And then he's the one who actually introduced us to Jillian Cameron, who's the director of Fetching Communications, which they're a marketing firm specifically for pet-based companies who handle the marketing for PetSmart and Banfield. And then there's also Brian Badera, he's the founder and CEO of an advertising agency in Phoenix, Arizona, called Amplify Relations. So he's been coaching us and teaching us how to do some more targeted advertising and how to create advertisements in 10 seconds that can catch someone's attention and get them to follow a link. So we're working with all of these people to try and take us to the next level, but we are still an idea stage company. And here's some examples of the current prototype. We're hoping to have the MVP out by the end of next month, by the end of November. But this is just to give you an idea of what it would look like as an MVP. We do want to get a front-end designer on board who can make it look a little prettier, make it look a little more fluid. But you would connect through Facebook. Here's your different windows for your personal profile and for your pet profile. Here's an example of how you would select what kind of pets you're interested in seeing. And then you would write a little story for your pet, you would write a little story for yourself, and then you would eventually, once you matched with someone, you would be able to send them messages. And that is PuppyLove in a nutshell.
Why this idea?
I got really excited about it because I think it's something that's never going to go away. People are always dying to meet the right person for them. And I think right off the bat, meeting someone who shares a huge value and a value and responsibility in your life, it's a more qualified match than just meeting someone at a bar. And I think people would really get behind it. I think pet owners would really get behind it. If you're not an animal person, then this app's not for you. It's just the way it is. But the people who are into animals, I think they would really love and welcome a space like this.
Are you a pet owner?
I am. I have a dog. Her name's Ripley. She's adorable. But if you're asking me how we came up with the idea, the short answer for that is we got drunk. And we were having a conversation. There were about 6 of us there, and one of our friends, she was telling us that she had a date the next day that she was really not looking forward to, So we asked her why, and she said, well, I've been out with him before, and he's kind of a jerk, and I don't like him. Like, well, why are you going out with him? And she's like, well, because I really liked his dog. So she was going out with someone.
Yeah.
She was going out with someone exclusively on the off chance that she might get to see the dog again. So that's what, and then we spent the next 4 hours talking about whether or not she was insane. But at the end of the conversation, we thought maybe there's something here. So that's where the idea came from.
What kind of funding do you need now?
Right now, we're looking for about $200,000 just so we can bring on a full-time development team to get the app out there, and then launch a small marketing campaign as well. But my brother and I are actively, we both put in about $8,000 into the company. We've applied for federal USPTO patents and trademarks on the name, logo, and our tagline, which is Unleash the Love. And both of us are, my brother's working for a tech company in Baltimore, like I said, and I'm looking to get into full-time work myself so that we wouldn't be drawing any money for ourselves. We would just need the money to be able to try and push the product and then market it to the right people. So we're looking for about $200,000.
Milestones, I didn't see any milestones and target dates for,
Yeah, so that used to be in the presentation until we hit a very major snag and we took it out because we were a little embarrassed, honestly. Our first developer took us for a bit of a ride, and so our milestones we were back to square one and we didn't want to look at them anymore. So we're actually very excited to be able to say we're on track to be able to release an MVP by the end of next month.
And it's okay to share that story that, hey, we got to take him for a ride, we're a whole lot smarter now, yeah. See how investors get a little more comfort when they know you've fallen on your face and gotten a little smarter.
You said you're working with somebody else making a Ken Justman.
Ken Deckinger.
So are they in an early stage too?
Yeah, his website has been active for about 2 years, I think.
Okay.
I think he's a targeted company that's only servicing the New York area.
Okay. If he's up and running and he's serving, is there a group of partnership with him? Because what I'm trying to see is you got one particular click. And even your story, if you sit back and think to the story that is that this one person is going on a second date with a person who just because you like it, you know for sure that might not turn out into a relationship. What you're trying to sell is it'll turn it into a relationship.
Right.
So your story doesn't match the outcome that you're saying that it would lead to. So my thing is if there's already in a niche somebody there, add this as an additional feature to it. Your marketing costs are low, your launch costs are low, your app development is low. Because you can have a separate section for pet owners, you could have an extra questionnaire for pet owners. Right? And completely independent business, you're replicating everything from building an app to doing marketing, you're just duplicating the costs and the same purpose, meeting the same need. At the end of the day, the need in the market is to bring two people together.
As opposed to developing kind of a tie-in for an existing company?
Right? Because any other existing company could add this as an extra feature to their stuff. If they see you successful, if I was running some other thing, I would add it as a feature. There's nothing that you have that is proprietary to you.
No.
Right? So if I have a Match.com or something where I blast the entire country and I have millions of subscribers, I can just add an additional feature of your preference of pet. Do you want to meet somebody with pet or no pet, or what's your preference?
You could, but the difference I think for us is that in the qualification, we are exclusively for those people, so everyone there is for those people. Whereas if it's just a tie-in on another site, then it's not really.
Yeah, but then it has to be that I'm meeting somebody and getting into a relationship exclusively because they have a pet. You know that's not true, I know that's not true. I will never get into it exclusively for a pet.
You'd be surprised.
Right?
Well, I think you'd be surprised too.
No. Being a surprise and see, look, every statement has exceptions. When you're in a business, you got to show your clients are making money. If there are 100 people who would be surprised that yes, that's all they're going to get in a relationship, 100 people is not a substantial business. If you're asking for money and raising money, you need a sustainable business model.
Right, I'm sorry, I guess I might not understand what you're saying.
What I'm trying to say is unless you have scientific data that studies that prove that people, only because of pet, they got married together or got in a relationship, my statement is it's a component of a relationship.
Right. So I think I left this out. We're not trying to become, in the mobile dating space, I don't think there's a single app out there that is the only app on someone's phone. I think it's 87% of mobile dating users have at least 3 dating apps on their phone. So we're not trying to replace any other existing company, we're just trying to get them to add us as well.
And pay you $19.99 a month.
Well, 4.75% of the people who add us to pay us $19.99.
My point is, you're not showing a scalable business.
I respectfully would like to disagree with that. For us, I think part of our social media presence would be about creating a community for pet owners. So it's not necessarily just about the dating experience, it's about a place, an outlet that people can use to celebrate
Now
their
you're
pets.
describing a different business. Now you're describing a business for a community of pet owners where they can enjoy, not for dating. You started off telling that this is a personal dating.
That's my mistake. So our social media presences were always about creating a community of pet owners. Our flagship product would be the dating app. So that online they can come to our Instagram, our Facebook, our Twitter to talk about, they could share pictures of their pets, they could talk about funny things that their pets have done, but at the end of the day, we want them to be using our dating app.
Then I think you should project that as your business and this is a component of it. Because you're raising money to create a Facebook for pet owners.
You may be right in the fact that getting people together who have pets, which is something people love to do, who have pets.
Yes.
Whether
And
it's
then
for
the
dating-
byproduct
whether it's
of
for
it-
dating or not.
And if they end up dating, that's just a bonus.
That's a-
And which people say, hey, we met each other on, but the fact that they can all get together to meet other people who have pets is something to.
That's your real business, because once you get clients signed on that, now you can sell them dog food, cat food, all kinds of stuff. Now you got other people looking for your data because you got a whole community of animal lovers. You built a community of that. It could go anywhere from, you could even have people who have hotels which allow animals to advertise on your site. Because when people travel, they want to take their animals. That's a building a business.
That's true.
That's a business.
I
And,
guess I never looked at it that way.
That's why I'm here.
and I would not fall into your group, I was gonna ask you why you're limited to a specific age group.
The 18 to 35,
Yeah.
just because of
If
the
you've got 4 more
prevalence to
million
use.
people in other age groups, why would you limit it?
Well, we would only target the age group 18 to 35, and it's just because of their prevalence to use applications like the one we were talking about.
So what are you doing actually to target that group, other than just assuming that that's the age group that most likely uses mobile apps and such? Is that what you're targeting?
Yeah.
Just know that they're the ones that,
They're the ones
most
who
of
are,
them use target apps, but that doesn't mean that, my mother wouldn't use it. If
Exactly.
I taught her how to use your app and things like that, so it's not that you're not necessarily actively targeting, you're just picking a demographic.
that's probably more accurate, yeah. So that's the demographic. We're not actually doing anything to target that age group.
Because I'm a single pet owner. And while I wouldn't go to a dating app, because that's not my preference,
Right.
I would go to a pet app
Pet.
to meet other people with pets. And that's true, and I would never thought about until you said
That's-
that, but I would go to your app if it was to be able to connect with other pet owners,
Uh-huh.
so.
Think about
So
it.
just
Think
think
about
about-
building a
just think about
business
that
where you
too.
can build everything from training your pets, if there's any, you can sell puppies, you can have all this.
You could actually
open
add,
up
I
an
mean, the
entire
dating
business.
thing is not something you have to get rid of, but expanding it to cover more.
So it's just kind of just an online, just a general
A
online
community of pet owners.
of pet owners who can do anything.
Anything, you have a horse show in your
They may end
neighborhood,
up
you
getting
have a
their
dog
dogs
show in your
together because
neighborhood.
they might want to breed, you never know, I mean, it's just like a whole new.
And the way that different people treat their pets is, can give you an indication of whether you even want to meet that pet owner. If I meet a pet owner whose dog's name is Pookie, and, she has to fix his breakfast every morning, or he has to get up every morning and fix his breakfast, that's probably not somebody I would want to meet, because that's a little
Right.
bit too obsessed. and to, but someone who's got maybe a Great Dane, they love to go running, so that person, then I might want to meet, and I can tell the kind of person they are by the way that they
They interact.
interact with their pet and things like that.
And you can
that would be an
And then you're not
indirect way.
limited. There's no need to
There's
target.
no need
Right.
to target, and
Yeah.
then you don't be 19.99, just put it 4.99 or for 9.99 a month, and you get millions of people signed up.
Mhm.
It's a community of stuff.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be a dating site, it could just be people like the girl you described.
And the name
Just like
stays,
your dog.
the name still fits.
Yeah, name still fits.
Yeah, oh,
And this product, whatever you're building, it won't go away, it'll be a part of that, you
Just
put
do
in a
more.
plug it in. And then somebody else might come with another idea for pets, like, hey, I'm going to have an app to announce all the pet shows in the US every time. Okay, add that link into that, so start building all these
Dream big.
menu
a lot bigger
items.
than we were thinking before.
That bigger is what gets sustained and bigger is what makes business. If you're small in the stuff, somebody will gobble you up. If somebody can add this feature to their thing, you're done.
You could be like a clearinghouse for information on people who have pets.
And I would love an app to tell me where I can take my pet when I'm traveling.
Yeah, pet friendly.
I just came up with that,
Yeah.
sitting on, I never even thought of it.
Best Western Hotels.
I mean, there are places,
other-
there are
other
websites
ones.
out there that
Yeah.
Yeah, but
pet friendly hotels, but
But
you
if
gotta
you had
go
one
here,
that you
you
could
gotta
go to for
there,
everything?
Yeah, one place for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the mobile aspect of this could be real, because if I
Yes.
show up in Indianapolis, Indiana, with 2 white shepherds in my back of my car, and now I gotta find a place to stay, because I'm done for the day.
Yeah.
It'd be great to be able to say, what's
Pull up that
around?
app and say, oh, what's here?
Otherwise, I gotta go on Travelocity, or I gotta go on Orbitz, or I gotta go someplace else, and, okay, who takes pets, and then therefore, and that ought to be data that you could just grab.
Just grab it.
Sorry, I'm trying to process all of
Yeah,
this.
of course.
No, that's,
I have a question
Think about it.
regarding,
Yes.
you said you had 274 people who you
Yeah.
asked about that. Where did you get those 274 people?
Social media, honestly. We had a core group of 4 people, and it was literally their job to just spam it out to as many different venues and places that they could reach. And then we had 274 random people answer the survey. And then we asked them demographic questions, age, where they live, and then we asked them about 22 questions related to mobile apps, dating, and pets. And the entire survey results are interesting, but those were the things I showed you were the key ones we took away from it.
Okay.
You said that at the end of the next month, I guess you'll have your, the development on the
MVP, yeah.
app, okay. Do you have plans for like beta testing that then with a group of people?
Yeah,
We
so
already have that
we
kind of
wanna beta test it with about 50 people for about a month, just so we can get some feedback right away in the beginning. Like, are there any obvious usability issues? Are there any areas where the app just falls short? Is there anything that's breaking? And then some quality controls, like do they like it? What can be better? But yeah, we want to keep it to about 50 to 70 people for the original beta test once we get the MVP.
Is that gonna be a mix of pet owners? I mean, because a little bit of the name makes it sound like it's maybe just more for dog owners. Are you
Mhm.
thinking that that's gonna be a bigger part of it, or do you think that other
Um,
pet owners will start to realize it's for them too? I mean, I just didn't know if you think that'll.
Well, dogs are definitely going to be, at least based on the survey results we took and the analysis we've been able to do, dogs will be the biggest feature, but we by far don't expect them to be the only one. Surprisingly, the second biggest group that showed interest in the app was horse owners.
Yeah, but it's.
Both of those are portable.
Yeah, portable, and I think the dog is probably, they walk, okay, I don't have to go to coffee or anything with you, bring your dog out.
And
you
running
go
it
for
where
a
you're
walk.
gonna ride, and
You
you
can't
always
walk
want somebody to ride with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't put them on.
And there again, it doesn't need to be a dating thing for that. Everybody's looking for people to go ride with on horses, so.
Mhm.
But did that answer your question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I'm still just trying to process it out.
You'll be laying in bed tonight and it's still.
We never once thought about going that big. There'd be some issues with it, but I think it's
There are no
interesting.
issues, they're all challenges. You can
That's
get-
very,
you can get
very
through.
good.
Challenges, yes.
There are no issues.
Opportunities.
Because now you got sponsorships, you got people like, if you have 1 million pet owners on your website, can you imagine all the guys trying to sell products through you?
Yeah. Then at that point, I think we need a, PuppyLove was originally envisioned as being a purely mobile experience, but I think at that point, we need a full-on website and.
Apple was originally designed to make computers, so don't think like
Don't
that.
think small.
Are there any other questions?
No more.
How much more can we change your business model? Is it?
I mean, I'm gonna have to go take a look at it, because there's some really good ideas. And I appreciate all of your input, I really do, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good luck.